Welcome back, everybody. Video 3 for today. A rare 3 video day for us. Sheepdog Smokey here. Hope you are having a good Friday, or as good as it can be. This one, we have a video where a lot of people are saying this video is going to get Trump reelected, or it's proof that he's right. And I agree with them on almost all of those points. This is a man basically saying that Donald Trump's Buy American, Build American philosophy is just urgently needed right now. Since the early 1990s, 1993, when Bill Clinton took office, we started to see a ship out of production for penicillin and other medications, personal protective equipment and other things to China. I have run a small business. I've been management. I had to find vendors for certain things. I understand that you want to keep your costs low. But I would never have outsourced a need for supplies for my business to a direct competitor, no matter how low the cost, even were they free. Because when you outsource to someone who is in competition with you, you hand them power to cripple you. We've already seen a lot of these countries producing a lot of these things start to deny shipment to other countries. But let's go on in and watch this video now.
Is that we are dangerously over-dependent on a global supply chain. For our medicines, like penicillin, our medical supplies, like masks, and our medical equipment, like ventilators. We have, right now, as we speak, over 50 countries have already imposed some forms of export restrictions in their country against the rest of the world. And what we're learning from that is that no matter how many treaties you have, no matter how many alliances, no matter how many phone calls, when push comes to shove, you run the risk as a nation of not having what you need. And if there's any vindication of the president's Buy American, secure borders, and a strong manufacturing base philosophy, strategy, and belief, it is this crisis, because it underscores everything that we see there. So the Buy American order, which is going through process, would do a couple things. It would simply say, not during this crisis, because we don't want to disrupt anything. I want to be really clear about that. But going forward, after this is over, the VA, DOD, HHS, and this government buys American for essential medicines, our medical countermeasures, and the medical supplies and equipment we need. At the same time, it will deregulate so we can get the FDA and EPA to facilitate domestic manufacturing, and then innovate. Because the key here is having advanced manufacturing on U.S. soil that can leapfrog other countries, so we don't have to worry about competing against cheap sweatshop labor, lax environmental regulations, different tax regimes, and the massive subsidies of foreign governments who are actually directly attacking our industrial base. So be patient with that, sir. The other priorities we have right now are the DPA and what the task force is doing. But if we learn anything from this crisis, it should be never again should we have to depend on the rest of the world for our essential medicines and countermeasures.
What you just saw there was Secretary Navarro basically saying that Buy American, Build American is the way we need to go forward. From penicillin to masks to ventilators and other needs, we should not be dependent on any country but our own. We're already starting to see companies like MyPillow step up and repurpose their machinery to stop making pillows and start making masks. I believe it's Anheuser-Busch that has stopped brewing beer in a large capacity and is repurposing their equipment to make hand sanitizer. Other companies are going to start doing things like this. Right now, I see MyPillow and I see Anheuser-Busch doing these things. During Hurricane Harvey, Anheuser-Busch canned purified water so that they could get more water to Houston and other affected areas. They stopped when it was over. But companies like this when they see this Buy American, Build American, you know, I'm all for them saying this is a market we can now break into. And instead of just seeing Purell or Johnson & Johnson and other companies that have made sanitizer, you'll see Anheuser-Busch or others start doing things like this. Mike Lindell could easily, at this point, open a new factory once all this is passed and produce masks. A lot of it can be automated. I mean, you can run on a much smaller crew than you ever could in the past to produce things like this. I mean, you want to look at the means of production and the way it's changed. Look at Matt Carricker, Demolition Ranch, and his company, Bunker Branding. This right now is a very, very small company. They are enlarging, but it will still be very small by comparison to others. And he's producing thousands and thousands of shirts a day for himself, his wife, and other YouTube channels. And he's making a profit, and so are these other YouTubers. But you know what? He saw that he could get into a market and do it himself instead of depending on someone else. And other companies are going to see this. What he talked about with deregulation. Don't jump to conclusion. This is not anybody make anything you want. There's no restrictions. That is not what this means. What it means is that the regulation that the DoD is locked in to work with certain companies that are now international is removed, and the FDA and the CDC and the EPA will be able to start working with homebound American companies to find a supply chain. Also make sure that you realize he said not right now. Now, there are companies like MyPillow, like Anheuser-Busch, and there will be others who are going to step up and say, this is a crisis, we need these certain things, and we can produce them. If my comment about Bunker Branding with Matt Carricker, he actually has the ability to produce scrubs and certain other PPE, and has said he's not doing it for profit. He will do it at, whatever his cost is for people in need of it. Matt is a veterinarian, so he is not seeing patients probably any more than he was. But there are hospitals and nursing homes and other care facilities in that area around him. And if they start saying we can't get this certain thing that he can produce, he's already said he's willing to jump in and help. And other companies will. And when all of this is over, and we see that companies run by people like Mike Lindell, or companies like Anheuser-Busch, or small businesses like Bunker Branding, they start seeing a window of opportunity, you're going to see things grow. I do like that Navarro mentioned we won't have to deal with people who run sweatshops. Okay? That right there should make a lot of people happy. Lax environmental regulations. Look at the air quality in China or India, where a lot of those sweatshops are run, versus factories like Anheuser-Busch, which produce billions of gallons of things, of beer and other things a year, and they have to abide by American regulations. So he's not saying we're going to just remove them. He's saying we need to look at them, and we'll be able to then evaluate if changes should and need to be made. That is a good thing, and that is a very wise path to move forward on, because that not only secures us in the event of a pandemic, but it grows our economy. I would love to see companies like LG start making the TVs here. Ford bring production back to the U.S. for production of engines and certain things. I would love to see it. I don't think we're ever going to get back to what we were right at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, where Detroit made everything for a Ford. But we can go pretty close to it. And that's not a bad thing, because other countries need to do this same thing. Then they're secure. We've already seen Mexico openly say Americans may not enter our country. Where's the cry about racism of the Mexican government? Well, it never happened because it was Mexico doing it. And now Secretary Navarro has said that this is the secure borders and The Buy American, Build American is a good thing, not only for being ready to respond to something like this, but for our economy and for our people. Imagine how many jobs would be created if we had factories producing these masks and ventilators and the medicines and so on. Jobs every level, from entry level, no skills required, to people running robots that need, heavy amounts of training. We would see a lot of things that are right now happening, especially with unemployment and such, that could be addressed very quickly by saying, well, you want to open a business making ventilators? Let's make that happen, but let's make it happen in the right way. And then that company is going to need to hire people, from managers to salespeople to janitors to people actually making the ventilators. I see nothing wrong with looking at it now to be ready to start it. And even now, letting companies like MyPillow or Anheuser-Busch say, well, you know what, we can produce these things right now because we need them. And saying, well, let's look at how you're producing them. And when you see they're producing them correctly, very well, let's do this. And letting companies step up, because that's going to let companies, when this is over and we start looking at the Buy American, Build American, Secure Borders to move forward after this, they're going to say, we'd like to keep this going. And they're going to build new facilities, and they're going to hire new crews. So I don't see any problem with this. The only problem you may see come up is the idiot media crying about it, because we're just going to be harming China. I could care less. I couldn't care less, honestly. China has already openly said, we won't ship medication. We want people to die. So they're no ally of ours. So we're no ally of theirs. I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think. As always, be civil. We're here to talk and discuss. We are not here to scream and yell and insult like toddlers. Make sure you like and share the video so we grow the channel and expand the conversation, and we hit those giveaway thresholds faster than normal. You'll want to make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you're aware of all new content like today, where I'm posting more than normal and off schedule. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy, stay home, and everyone have a wonderful day.